Let's read with T.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Read with T. So I hope you guys are well. Today we're going to be reading from the Bible, and we're going to read from John 6 about when Jesus feeds the 5,000. If you've read this story before, give this video a big thumbs up now so I know you've read it before. And if you haven't, but it's your first time hearing the story, make sure you give it a thumbs up at the end to let me know that you have enjoyed this story. So let's begin. After this, Jesus crossed over the far side of the Sea of Galilee. If you saw my last video, we sang a song about the Sea of Galilee. But if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. I teach you a hand song about the Sea of Galilee and it's quite fun, so check that out. After this, Jesus crossed over the far side of the Sea of Galilee, also known as the Sea of Tiberias. A huge crowd kept following him wherever he went because they saw his miraculous signs as he healed the sick. Then Jesus climbed a hill and sat down with his disciples around him. It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration. Jesus soon saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him. Turning to Philip, which is one of his disciples, he asked, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" He was testing Philip, for he already knew what he was going to do. Philip replied, "Even if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them." Then Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. "There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd?" "Tell everyone to sit down," Jesus said. So they all sat down on the grassy slopes. The men alone numbered 5,000. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks to God, and distributed them to the people. Afterward, he did the same with the fish, and they all ate as much as they wanted. After everyone was full, Jesus told his disciples, "Now gather the leftovers so that nothing is wasted." So they picked up the pieces and filled 12 baskets with scraps left by the people who had eaten from the 5 loaves. That's actually amazing. So did you catch that? That little boy had 5 loaves and 2 fishes, but when he gave it to Jesus, it managed to feed 5,000 people. And there was 12 baskets left over. That's actually amazing. So question. In this story, I love that this little boy gave his lunch to Jesus. If that was you, would you have given your lunch to Jesus? Just imagine, you've been out all day with your mum at the shop, she's been shopping, or with your dad, you had to follow him to while he goes to work and does different errands for work. You've been out all day and you're really tired and you're really hungry. And you look into your bag and you remember that your mum packed you a packed lunch. So you're really, really happy that you have this lunch. But then, just when you're thinking that you're going to eat and be full, Jesus comes to you and asks you to share your lunch with all of these people. At least 5,000 people. It says that there were 5,000 men. That wasn't including children and not including women. So that means that there was maybe even 15,000 people. Imagine Jesus is asking you to share your lunch with 15,000 people. What would most of us be thinking? We'll be thinking, Jesus, I don't think I've got enough here for everybody. Or we might be thinking, I don't want to share. This is for me. I'm hungry. So my question for you is, what do you think your reaction might have been in that moment if you was that little boy and Jesus asked you for the fish? Maybe you had a really good answer. Maybe your answer was that you would have given it to Jesus, and that's fantastic. Maybe like some of us, because I know for me, definitely as a child, I definitely wouldn't have wanted to share my lunch, because if I was hungry, I would have wanted to keep it. But thanks to God, God has taught me a lot about sharing and about giving to him when he needs stuff so that he can use it for his glory. So prayerfully now my answer has changed, but maybe your answer wasn't that you would give it to Jesus yet. And that's why we need Jesus, and that's why we ask him to help us and to grow us, and that's why we read stories like this, so that we can learn. What we see here is that this little boy gave his food to Jesus, gave the little that he had. What didn't seem like a lot, did it? It didn't seem like it would be enough. But when he gave it to Jesus, and Jesus gave thanks to the Father, and Jesus distributed it, it became more than enough. It wasn't just enough, there was even leftovers. There was one basket for every disciple of Jesus. For all 12 of Jesus' disciples, there was one whole basket. Imagine that. So today's challenge. My challenge for you as you go about this week, or you go about the rest of your month, or whenever you're watching this, is to think about what you have. What do you have right now? What do you have at home, in your room? What are you good at? What do you have in your pocket right now? Maybe you're watching this on the phone or on iPad and you're out and about. Have you got siblings and maybe sometimes they've asked you to share with them, but you're thinking about yourself in that moment? So you're thinking, if I share with them, then I might miss out. Or maybe you don't like to share things with your friends, or maybe you have to sometimes, when you go to, let's say you go to church, or you go to an extracurricular activity, as you go to an activity outside of school, whether that's sports or something like that, and you have people that sometimes ask you to use your things, and your immediate reaction might not be to share. But I want to challenge you and encourage you to give it to Jesus. Before you make any decision, and before you decide to be selfish, and which is to think just about yourself, to say to Jesus, Lord, can I give this to you so that you can multiply it? Because from this little boy's story, we realised that when he gave it to Jesus, he didn't miss out, did he? He didn't lose anything. He actually still was full, but then everybody else was full as well. So my challenge for you is to, when you finish this video, just take a few minutes to ask Jesus what he would like you to give him that he can use for his glory, that he can use to help other people. Ask Jesus, what can you give to him? Even if it seems very, very small, what can you give to Jesus that Jesus can use to help other people? And you will still be blessed in that. That little boy that gave the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes was still blessed. He was still full, but so were so many other people because he gave it to Jesus. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story from the Bible today. And if you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up to let me know. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more content when we release it. But before you go, I want to remind you guys that the kingdom of God belongs to those who are like children. Bye guys.